Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another discussion video. Today we're talking about the Red Jiren stuff coming out of set 14. I find it really interesting. I don't have a defined opinion on whether I think it's going to be great or not so great. I'm kind of looking to do this video, talk through the cards, think about it, and come to a conclusion by the end of the video. I think it's a pretty interesting set of effects. We'll see what I think by the end of it. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, there are tons of ways in the description to do so, all of which are greatly appreciated. But today, guys, if you're looking for custom sleeves, playmats, any DBS accessories like that, make sure to check out your playmat down in the description. Using the link down there will get you 10% off your order. The stuff there is super high quality, guys. I love it. They actually just sent me a new pack of sleeves and they're just absolutely incredible. They're so good. So anyways, guys, check that out down in the description. Once again, 10% off your order. Let's get started talking about the Jiren stuff. Alright, we have the Jiren leader, auto spirit boost 1. When your opponent attacks, choose up to one red Jiren card in your hand with an evolve skill, pay the skill cost for the chosen card's evolve skill, then evolve it on top of a battle card that meets its evolve requirements. So all that says is basically spirit boost you can evolve during your opponent's turn. So that's kind of like the theme of this deck. Your battle cards are going to be vulnerable to being attacked, or even your leader will be attacked, and you're able to evolve given the correct circumstances. Activate main once per turn, add a card from light to hand, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, play up to one red U11 card with energy cost of 1 among them in rest mode, then shuffle your deck. So you do get like some self-awakening and technical draw power. Like a lot of the 1-drops you'll be playing have the ability to draw, which is very nice. Awaken when you lights to 4 or less, you may draw 1 card and switch it to one of your energy to active mode, then flip this card over. Jiren blind destruction, auto when this card attacks, draw 1. Auto limit 2. If it's your turn, when one of your red Universe 11 cards evolves, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn, so helps you be a bit aggressive in that regard. Auto spirit boost 1. When your opponent attacks, choose a one red Jiren card in your hand with an evolve skill, pay the skill cost for the chosen card's evolve skill, then evolve it on top of a battle card that meets its evolve requirements. So same idea there, where you're basically evolving during the opponent's turn. Does require spirit boost though, so we know the main gimmick of the deck requires you to have a Unison in play. Let's move on. Alright, so we have the Topo Unison, which looks incredible as an SR and an SPR, I must say that. It's a 1-cost 5k Unison, so very weak. Auto once per turn, one of your red battle cards evolves. This card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn and add a marker to it. So it does have an additional way to gain markers, which is nice. Going up to 10k though is not really any relevant form of protection because 10k Unisons can die super easily. Activate main +1. At the end of the turn, choose up to one red battle card with energy cost of 1 in your hand and play it in rest mode. So that's a very generic skill. We have 2 1-drops right here that we'll talk about in a second, but again, that is a very generic skill. I do like that. Activate main -7. If your opponent has 3 or more life, deal 1 damage to your opponent. I really don't see that ever resolving ever, but it is a possible thing, I guess. Again, this should be very susceptible to being attacked. You can still trigger your spirit boost auto when it's attacked, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, a little bit weird there. Jiren thirst for power, 1-drop permanent. If your leader card is U11 card, mono red Jiren cards with original energy cost of 4 in your hand gain the following effect: EX evolve for a red and 2 colorless red Jiren with energy cost of 1. Just moving ahead a little bit, this is a bit strange. Like, it's cool that they're adding this so that some of the older Jiren cards are playable in the deck, but it's giving them a 3 evolve cost, which again is strange because a lot of other Jirens were going to read evolve for free, so pretty weird. But when this card's played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red Jiren card or 1 red Unison card with a specified cost of 1 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So absolute 4. The card looks incredible, by the way, too. It looks like a super rare with the kind of like I don't know, energy aura that's going around Jiren, but it's only an uncommon, which is sweet. Jiren the Avenger, 1-drop. Auto when this card's played, draw 1. Activate main, limit 1. If your leader card's a red U11 card, you choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. You place this card at the bottom of your deck from your drop area, so that's excellent right there. It gives you value from the drop area. Add up to 1 red Jiren with an energy cost of 5 or less and an evolve skill from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So I love that searchability there. This card I find to be absolutely incredible. Then we have Jiren Unseen Potentials. This is going to start our line of the Jirens that come out in the set, or this one's actually a promo, but you get what I mean. The ones that are coming out with set 14 that evolve during defense. So we have a free EX evolve over a Jiren with an energy cost of 1 for Jiren Unseen Potential. Auto limit 1 when this card's played. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Add up to 1 red U11 card among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you added a card to your hand, choose a card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. So not a true plus, which is honestly kind of lame, but it's okay. I mean, you can look top 7, add a super combo, or add whatever you need for your next play. That seems okay. Jiren Devastating Might, 4-drop EX Evolve, another free one over a 1-cost Jiren. Auto limit 1 when this card's played, draw a card, love that. Then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. So that can actually be pretty powerful in conjunction with like Yamcha Merciless Barrage, which in a red deck that plays in Unison, you're probably going to play 3 to 4 copies of. So that's pretty good there. Jiren Surge of Strength, 5-drop, 19k, dual attack, EX Evolve, limit 1 for 1 red, so it does cost 1 to go over a red Jiren with a cost of 1 or 4. Permanent, if this card will be removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, you may place 2 cards under this card in the owner's drop area or add 1 card from light to hand instead. So this guy has solid protection. Auto, when this card's played, draw 1 card, then choose one of your red U11 leader cards or battle cards other than this card and gets plus 1,000 power for the turn. So by evolving this on defense, you are actually able to Senzu Bean your leader essentially, because in a lot of the cases that plus 1k is going to be the equivalent of a Senzu Bean. It's just going to be a little bit awkward if your opponent's attacking you with like a 16k battle card, but that's pretty rare. So yeah, functionally it is almost like a Senzu Bean. That's pretty good. Then we have some of the older Jirens that gain evolve when you have that 1-drop in play, but again they evolve for 3, which makes them a little weird. Jiren Fist of Justice is a really cool card. Came out in set 2 and it was super popular when it was released in red decks. Double strike permanent, this card can attack battle cards that are in active mode. Auto once per turn when this card attacks a battle card, switch this card to active mode and gets plus 10,000 power for the duration of the battle. So the first time you swing on a battle card, it is swinging for 30k. That is interesting. This could be a decent tech option if you need to attack things with like barrier that are in active mode, let's just say. I don't know if you're really played in the deck. It's definitely a bit niche, I would say. Jiren the All-Seeing I do find really interesting as well. Double strike auto once per turn. When your opponent plays a battle card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. So you're kind of stunning anything your opponent plays that comes into play, almost like the Jiren Unison as well. Auto, when one of your opponent's cards attacks, you may choose that card and gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. And that's not once per turn, so that's actually really cool that it can floodgate your opponent out of attacking, almost kind of like a King Vegeta imposing presence. Only problem is these two guys don't really have any meaningful forms of protection, so they could be just a little bit weak. Anyways, let's read the boss monster, Jiren Zenith of Power, which looks absolutely incredible, by the way. Was kind of hoping this guy would get an SPR, because in this set, the SRs and the SPRs for each card look amazing, both of them. But yeah, this card still looks sick. So Jiren Zenith of Power, 8-drop, 35k. So right off the bat, reading 8-drop, it's safe from Frieza Charismatic Villain, which is very important. EX Evolve, limit 1 for 2 red energy. If you have 3 or more energy, evolve this over a red Jiren with the cost of 4 or 5. So this guy can come down super early. Like, you can get your other Jirens in play as early as turn 1, 2, 3, and this guy can come down on turn 3, so that's good. Auto, when this card's played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 35,000 power for the turn, and you can't play non-U11 battle cards for the turn. So this guy comes down, removes any battle card in the game, which is actually going to be pretty good for red decks going up against like blue-yellow decks that are playing Violent Rush Bojack. That could be really solid. Activate main once per turn, place 1 card under this card in the owner's drop area, switch this card to active mode, and you may have your red leader card get plus 5,000 power for the turn. So this, in conjunction with your leader's own effect, can make your leader a 25k, which is pretty good. The problem with big Jirens in the past, like there have been other different Jiren decks that haven't really been too great, but this card comes down a lot earlier than those other ones. Like the other one I think of is the green-yellow successor Jiren, which is a pretty strong card when you read the effect text, but it's pretty tough to drop it. This one, much more simple, much more straightforward. This could actually be a really solid strategy for a Jiren based deck. I don't really think the old Jirens here are going to be too great, but I do think this Jiren boss monster is pretty solid. Now we're looking at the other U11 cards. I'm going to read through them, but I really don't think you need to play most of these in the deck. They just seem a little bit weird. So we have Casserole, Warrior of U11, 2-drop 5k, deflect blocker, permanent. If this card be moved from battle area by an opponent's skill, you may add 1 card from light to hand instead. I really like these alternate protection effects that aren't like blocker or barrier rather, or deflect. Like this card does have deflect, but it also has like destruction protection, which is cool. Activate main once per turn, or activate battle, sorry. If your leader card is a red U11 card, choose up 2 of your red U11 cards with an energy cost of 1 and 10,000 power or less in your battle area and switch them to active mode. Okay, this card's pretty weird because it doesn't even seem like this is really designed for this archetype, because anything we've read so far doesn't really synergize with this unless I'm missing something. I don't know. Yeah, this one's really strange. What's cool though is you can take any 2-drop U11, 2-drop or less U11, and look at it for the yellow Jiren leader from, I think it's like set 9, possibly set 8. But yeah, this is playable in that. You can play it for free. It's got blocker and it's got destruction protection, and maybe you can play some sort of, I don't know, 10k spam strategy with that. Very strange though. Tupper, Warrior of Universe 11, 3-drop, 20k, Barrier, Dual Attack. When this card's played, choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards to get minus 15,000 power for the turn. Maybe okay if you need to really remove 2 battle cards that are 15 or less, but again, 3 energy, pretty costly. Vuyon, Warrior of U11, we have a double strike Barrier. When this card's played, draw a card, then choose all of your U11 cards to get plus 5,000 power for the turn. 4-drop replaces itself with Barrier, so it's got protection against green, which is good. And boosting your whole board. This one is like maybe okay, but 4 energy, as we know, can be very, very steep in modern DBS. So a couple more cards for the archetype I want to read. Kunchi, Warrior of U11, another 1-drop, so again, playable in that yellow Jiren leader. Permanent, all of your red non-Kunchi U11 cards with energy cost of 1 in your battle area gain Barrier. Auto this card's played, draw 1. A few weird things here. This does give protection to your 1-drop Jirens, which I do think is cool, but when they evolve, they're going to lose that Barrier, so I'm not really sure how valuable this card is, really. It is a 1-drop that when it's played, it draws a card, so it could be worth playing in the deck just to make sure your leader effect is consistent enough. That's something to consider. Kettle, Warrior of U11, 3-drop, 15k, blocker, counterplay. If the battle card being played has 20,000 power or less, place it in the owner's drop area instead and play this card. So the deck gets its own Denial of Hope, which is really cool. Permanent, Bond 3, reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So this can become a 2-drop Denial of Hope if you have the Bond 3, which should be pretty easy in the deck the way it can spam battle cards. Auto when this card's played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. And then we have Zore, Topsy Turvy, 1-drop 4k. This is a promo card. Blocker, permanent Bond 2. This card can't be KO'd once per turn, so it is one of those 1-drops you can play in rest mode, and it's got a bit more protection than the average 1-drop because your opponent can't just attack into it to clear it. They have to attack into it twice, which is kind of interesting. So anyways, there's one more card I want to read for the archetype. Let's see what it does. Source of Power, 1-drop extra card, counter attack Spirit Boost X. So Spirit Boost X, as we talked about in a different video, allows you to use Spirit Boost 0, so you don't have to Spirit Boost for this card, but you can if you want to resolve the full effect. If your leader card's a red U11 card, negate the attack, add up to 1 red Jiren card with an evolved skill and energy cost of 5 or less from your deck to your hand, so searching there is excellent, then shuffle your deck. If you remove a marker from one of your red Unison cards using this skill, choose up to 1 red U11 card with energy cost of 1 in your drop area and play it in rest mode with its skills negated for the turn. So the way this should work is if you counterattack and use Spirit Boost, you're going to be able to search that Jiren, play a 1-drop from the drop area, and then your leader auto should be able to trigger after that, assuming you still have markers on your Unison after Spirit Boosting with this. So with that should set up an automatic Jiren evolve play, which is pretty good. So this is probably going to be a 4 of counterattack in the deck. Counterattacks are always nice because they do actually help protect your Unison, although it's a little bit counterintuitive because you're Spirit Boosting a lot after protecting your Unison, quote unquote. It's weird, but the archetype definitely intrigues me. I definitely want to do some more testing with it, try it out a bit more. Right now, what I'm going to say is I do think it has potential to be good. I don't think it's like over the top amazing yet, but they're probably not going for over the top amazing in this set. You know, they kind of want to do the ban list to pull back the power on some things, which again, we all know they kind of missed the mark on some things, but they did a good job in other aspects. And this archetype and Gohan, I think, are good, but maybe not, you know, the strongest we've ever seen. But really cool anyways. I want in the comments below what you guys think, though. Of course, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.